rules, survival rules that you've created, once you find out where this started, everything changes. But we have to locate the catalyst, the moment of impact. This is just who I am. I've been this way for as long as I can remember, and why change now? And you see, I believe that too, until I found out how much it was really messing up my relationships and making me feel a way that I didn't want to feel anymore. And then I realized at the heart of this was a 6-year-old making that call. That's what I want to show you today. Who you are today, these patterns, like maybe these rules, survival rules that you've created, it's not who you are. It's not who you have to continue to be. It's a survival rule that you probably made up before you even had words for it. Once you find out where this started, everything changes, because I know it changed for me. You see, when I was 6 years old and my parents were divorced, but this was a time when my dad came around like twice a year. He called on the phone. He wanted to know what my brother and I wanted for Christmas. My brother was 3 years older. My brother talked first, and he said he wanted one of those Tonka dump trucks, the yellow trucks where you can load it on with dirt and then you can pour the dirt out. Because I played with my brother and my brother's friends, I also wanted a Tonka truck. And so I got on the phone when it was my turn and I said, I want a Tonka truck too. And my mother grabbed the phone and she said, no, she doesn't. She wants a baby doll. Get her a baby doll. I honestly believe that that was the moment, the shame that I carried for decades. I believe that that was the moment that my shame was born. Not necessarily because of a truck, because at 6, I decided, in order to keep my mother's love and attention, and I wanted her to be proud of me, I decided to, in order to keep those things in my life, that who I am naturally at my core is not acceptable. I needed to be who I believe she wanted me to be in order to receive her love. You see, that moment didn't just shape how I felt from the age of 6 until 7. No, no. That moment stayed around for decades, because I honestly believed in order to keep her love and attention, I needed to be the person that she wanted me to be. And that became a part of how I showed up with the people that were important to me, how I showed up in my life for the people that I actually wanted to like me. Here's why this lesson is so costly. Like it's huge. Things like this don't just stay, at home with those people. I took that lesson that who I am at my core is not acceptable. I took that lesson into all of my relationships, all of my friendships, into my classrooms for 24 years. And you see, that pattern ran from the age of 6 automatically, because our brain wants to, protect us, conserve energy. And so in order to conserve energy, my brain just automated that. So anytime I stepped into a situation where I wanted to, earn someone's trust and approval, I became this person. This pattern just surfaced that I needed to be who I think they wanted me to be. And this was on autopilot before I even had a chance to think about it. And you see, the problem isn't actually having this pattern, because I know most women like myself who have lived through, trying to be perfect, trying to please everyone, trying to not be so messy, trying to not be so loud and attention getting, in order to keep that love in their life so that they don't feel abandoned. Just like me, you're probably watching this and you're recognizing that you developed a pattern as well. And sometimes we call it just my personality, and we can't change it because we believe it's just who we are. Because the strongest need in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with who we already think we are. You see, the moment that everything changed for me, I recognized that I became this person when I was in an unfamiliar environment, where I began to automatically hide who I was. Working with my own coach, I recognized this was a pattern that was running. And then she helped me to see that it was a belief and it was a pattern that I created, but I wanted to trace it back to when this happened. When I recognized that it was when I was 6, during that Tonka truck, during that Christmas one year, that was the moment that was born. In order to uncover that pattern, that rule that I made as a child to please the important people in my life, I needed to get down to the bottom of it. At least that's how it started. And for decades, I never questioned it. And like most people, I concluded that it was just who I was. Patterns and behaviors and rules, They don't have to be permanent. Just like we create them, we can update them, we can dismiss them, we can change these patterns so we don't have to continue showing up in the ways that we don't want to show up as anymore. But the important point to know in this moment is we can't update something that we have no idea where that file is. We have no idea where the origin began, where it was birthed. We have to locate the catalyst, the moment of impact when this happened. I share all of this with you today because you, again, may be someone watching right now who has developed a survival pattern. And you also think, just like I did for decades, that this is just who you are. And the moment we stop calling it, naming it a personality, and start seeing it as a behavior pattern with a story attached to it that we created with good reason, this is when you can actually get your power back. What this looked like for me in my life was I wanted to dress a certain way. I wanted to dress a way that was familiar, that was comfortable for me. I've never been someone who liked wearing dresses and really feminine outfits. So whenever I stepped into, and then I would start my performance, I would put on my mask and I would become the person that I assumed I needed to be in that moment. That's what it looked like. And then it just kept running and running and running on autopilot. And then I just decided that I don't like this anymore. This isn't who I want to be. Part of what we do in one of my offers, the reset, we run this what I call a pattern mapping exercise. We do this together, and I walk you through, some series of questions and part of the exercise so we can know where your specific rule began in your own words, not some category or sentence I'm going to give you. It's your actual sentence. Like mine was who I am at my core. It's not acceptable. Overall, I didn't learn to hide who I was at my core. I didn't learn to hide my true self because I didn't know what else to do. I learned it because at 6, my brain was doing its best to protect me. And at 6, I was doing what I thought I needed to do. So if this named or, brought up something for you, I want you to share it with maybe someone close to you. Share it down in the comments. Share it with me. And if you want to find the specific moment, like that file, that origin, that's exactly what I will help you do in the reset. It's 3 sessions, 3 private one-on-one sessions. And if you're interested, the link is in the description. Let's find what behavior pattern you're running for survival that you probably don't even want to run anymore. And this is such a game changer for so many of the clients that I've worked with. It's changed how they show up at work. It's changed how they show up in their relationships. It's changed how they view themselves. If you're interested in finding out your survival rule, click the link under this video.